Garcia, under pressure, has to go long, left-footed. Gets another chance, does Garcia, and a bit of header tennis just emerges in midfield as Olympiacos now winning the ball back through Heze. Oh, and there's a real awkward moment there. Oh my goodness, the goalkeeper, Paschalakis, who I mentioned was just coming into the team for his first appearance of the season tonight. He came outside his penalty area and he tried to clear it, and he's completely made a mess of it. And the ball has just ricocheted off Vlad Dragomir, who turned his back to it, but the ball's bounced off the back of his legs. And just for a second, I thought it was going to roll in. In the end, it's just rolled agonizingly past the post from a Pafos perspective. But my goodness, that would have been an absolutely dream start, wouldn't it, for the Cypriots? A really shaky first involvement there from Alexandros Paschalakis, the 36-year-old. Didn't look at all comfortable as that ball came back to him. Olympiacos now looking to get on the front foot here. Nice piece of play by Ortega. Drives forward. Gets towards the byline now, Ortega. He's met by Bruno. Goes down under the challenge from Bruno, but the referee is happy for the game to continue. Luckerson with a nice little ball back into Bruno, who'd stayed higher in midfield, and then Bruno is fouled. And Pafos will have a free kick. It's a pretty frenetic start in Piraeus. It's certainly going to be a really keenly fought contest, you would have thought, between these two. Certainly Pafos more than capable of holding their own in a physical battle. Their game at the weekend against Apollon Limassol was absolutely extraordinary in terms of how fiery it was. 18 yellow cards shown in total between the players and the staff, and 5 red cards as well. Absolutely incredible stuff. They're looking to come forward now down the left-hand side with Dragomir, who thought he'd forced a corner there out of Retsos. I think he was offside from the initial through ball. It was Vlad Dragomir, the Romanian, and his first cap for Romania actually earlier this year in March. Had a few years in the academy at Arsenal. Some Gunners fans, I'm sure, will remember him. Didn't make an appearance for the first team, but backed up more than 50 across the various age group teams. As Luiz now towers and wins a header just outside his penalty area. The referee blows his whistle, just penalising El Kaabi there. It's an excellent leap by Luiz, just levered himself above El Kaabi, and the referee said El Kaabi fouled the Brazilian. And Luiz now drills the resulting free kick long down the right-hand side, where it's picked up by Jaja. His control just lets him down somewhat under pressure from Ortega. The Argentine left-back quite happy to win a throw-in, which he takes level with the edge of his own penalty area. El Kaabi is dispossessed. It's back with Ortega now. Goes longer this time. El Kaabi looks to bring it under his spell, but Goldar quickly in to win it back for Pafos. And there was a coming together in midfield there between Bruno and Heze. The referee not too perturbed by it though. It was a bit of a scruffy challenge in fairness, and yeah, actually the referee has awarded the free kick to Olympiacos. They'll be so pleased to be back in this competition with the Olympiacos. As I mentioned at the top of the show, sort of grizzled veterans by comparison to Pafos in this competition. Haven't made it into the knockout stages, mind you, for a pretty long time. We have to go all the way back to 2014 when they faced Manchester United in the last 16. Eventually losing to them over 2 legs. With this new format, you'd imagine they'd certainly be targeting a spot in the top 24 at the very least. Possibly a crack at the playoffs in the new year. As Luckerson now receives a throw-in deep inside Pafos territory. It's cleared away by Mikhail, the goalkeeper, but his attempted pass down the left-hand side was a poor one. And it just bounces out for an Olympiacos throw-in. He's wearing a pretty distinctive face mask tonight, actually. Neophytos Mikhail, the Pafos goalkeeper. I guess that might be a little bit of a concern. Whether it will affect his peripheral vision or not could be something to watch out for at set pieces in particular. As Pirola now goes long, left-footed up towards El Kaabi. That's brought down by Luiz, who knocks it back to Mikhail. Mikhail's clearance is headed back towards the edge of the Pafos penalty area, but Cypriots look to come away again here with Dragomir, although his head is quickly cut out. And then Rodinei moves it inside to Retsos. Rodinei now receiving it down by the touchline, just inside his own half, plays the ball down the line that Luiz comes across and mops up well. And then Strefetsa just stepping in on David Luiz, deflecting the ball behind for a Pafos goal kick, and then just trying to G up the home faithful there. Gabriel Strefetsa, 28-year-old Brazilian, a summer signing from Como, where he certainly caught the eye under the shrewd tutelage of Cesc Fabregas last season in Serie A. He was the man who came on to replace Gelson Martins when he was injured on Saturday. As Luiz launches another ball forward. That's too high for Di Marta, but Dragomir battling in midfield, tries to win it, but just gets penalised for a high foot. Pretty much bang on the halfway line. It was Pirola who was just stooping in to try and win the ball with his head, and Dragomir, I think, maybe just caught him in the face. Olympiacos now looking to build again from the back with Ortega, who's quickly under pressure from Jaja, who does well to then block his attempted pass down the line. Olympiacos have to settle for a throw-in. It's interesting to see Jaja recalled to the starting 11 tonight. He's been one of the stars of this Pafos run through the qualifying rounds in the Champions League. Scored a couple of goals. Both of them ended up being tie-winning goals as well. First one in a 1-0 win at Maccabi Tel Aviv in the opening round, and then also scored in the 1-1 draw with Red Star Belgrade in the playoff second leg that ultimately got them the win on aggregate. As Luiz now plays a searching ball down the right-hand side. It's not a bad-looking one. Pachalakis is outside his penalty area again briefly, and I imagine his heart might have been in his mouth for a moment, but fortunately for him, the ball just had enough momentum to bounce into the penalty area, so he was able to back off slightly and just take it in his hands. And Olympiacos now look to come forward again. Drilled ball down the middle, looking for El Kaabi, is well cut out by Pafos. It's now Bruno who's on the charge. Tries to play a ball over the top to Di Marta. It just hit him on the back as he was looking to latch onto it, Landry Di Marta. He couldn't quite bring it under his spell, but it's a little bit scrappy still in these opening 9 minutes or so. But Olympiacos looking to attack now with a nice piece of play by Podence, who links with Ortega on the left-hand side. Ortega now coming in field. Oh, poor pass from him, and just allows Pafos to come away with the ball. And there's a decent-looking break on now as they switch it out to the right-hand side. Here's Jaja approaching the penalty area now. Cuts inside onto his left. Shoots! Oh, unfortunately for Olympiacos, it was straight down Alexandros Pachalakis' throat. Some good early signs from Pafos. They look as though they're going to be a threat on the counter-attack. But it is Olympiacos who now have a decent opportunity from a free kick. Ball was quickly paid forward by Pachalakis, and then Luiz just manhandling Ayub El Kaabi. The referee not too happy with that challenge, signalling a free kick. So if you're just joining us, 10 minutes gone here in Piraeus. It's Olympiacos 0, Pafos 0. Been nip and tuck so far. It's the hosts who have a good chance now as Rodinei swings it in towards the back post. Decent looking ball initially, but just seemed to gather pace as it curled through the night sky, and in the end it just evaded everyone and just bounced out of play beyond the far post. Pafos have shown a couple of little flashes on the counter so far and certainly come closest to scoring. Almost inside the first minute with that shaky piece of footwork by Pachalakis. Just striking a clearance straight into Vlad Dragomir. The ball thankfully just rolling past the post from an Olympiacos perspective. And here's the visitors who look to build again now, but that's a bit of a loose pass from Correa this time. Now here's a chance for Olympiacos to push forward with Strefetsa. He loses out there in the challenge with Correa, and then just leaves his foot in, does Strefetsa. That's a bit of a nasty one, just clipping Correa's ankle. It was a heavy touch. Strefetsa just meant that he was stretching for the ball. So another Olympiacos attack, just breaking down somewhat disappointingly. Well, it doesn't seem too likely that Olympiacos will be able to hit the heights that they've managed to hit in this competition previously. You never know, of course, but their best season was in 98-99 when they managed to reach the quarterfinals. They were beaten by a very, very late goal by Juventus in the second leg. On the brink of the semi-finals. They've certainly always enjoyed a strong home record, haven't they, in this competition? Just need to look at the list of teams that have been taken down at this stadium over the years. Likes of Real Madrid, Manchester United, Arsenal, Ajax, Benfica, Porto, Dortmund. So on paper, visit from Pafos certainly shouldn't be too daunting for them, but remains to be seen how the game pans out. As Joao Correa just tussling again with Strefetsa. It's Strefetsa who's gone down this time, and he's managed to win Olympiacos another free kick. This one is in a wide area on the right-hand side. It's probably about 10 or 15 yards shy of the penalty area and maybe 5 yards in from the touchline. But a decent crossing position for Rodinei. This one, Carlos Carcedo just issues some instructions to his players. In it goes from Rodinei. Good ball in. That's well headed clear by Luiz, I think it was, just getting there first. He's going to be an important figure for them back there tonight, isn't he, Pafos? It's a really fantastic defensive clearance there from David Luiz. Olympiacos looking to come again now, although full piece of control there by Chiquinho. And Luiz can just head that one out for a throw-in. It's the host now. Look to ramp up the pressure a bit. Rodinei taking the throw-in. Rolling it to the edge of the penalty area. Poor pass from him, though, and Jar comes away. Lovely piece of play by him. Striding towards the halfway line. Excellent pace shown there, but in the end he just got crowded out by 3 red and white shirts, and the counter is on now for Olympiacos, although Luiz coming across to make a strong tackle on Strefetsa, getting Pafos out of danger again, and once more Luiz shutting down a potential Olympiacos attack. They've got the ball back now with Retsos, about 5 yards inside his own half. Moves it forward. Here's Strefetsa now coming in off his right-hand flank. And there's going to be another free kick here for Olympiacos. A bit of a late challenge by Bruno Felipe. And he's going to be the first man to go in the referee's book tonight. Right-sided midfielder. Just got there a fraction late as Podence looked to flick the ball past him and just couldn't pull out of the challenge. Not sure he can have too many complaints there, Bruno. Once of Olympiacos, of course. 12 appearances for them between 2019 and 2021. He's been an important figure for Pafos as well in what they've done over the past couple of years. Actually set up Jar's winner in that victory at Maccabi Tel Aviv back in August. Does have some good group stage experience, unlike a lot of his teammates. Played in all 6 games for Sheriff in 2021-2022. It's Olympiacos now. Take this free kick. It's into the penalty area, but it's headed up and away by Lucassen. One back briefly by Olympiacos, but Lucassen again has time to clear, and the referee has awarded Pafos a free kick there. It's Strefetsa involved again. He's been in the thick of the action so far. Just penalised for a bit of a stray arm. on Pepe. And Pafos quite happy to just take a moment to reset and look to build again from the back with Goldar. Here's David Luiz, who's started on the left of that back three that we were predicting for Pafos. Another heavy challenge comes in midfield there by Sunjic. Referee gives Olympiacos the advantage. Here's Rodinei now. Crosses the halfway line on the right-hand side. Podence has come over to the right from the left to link up. Ball pass from him infield to Chiquinho, though, is easily cut out. Now Mikhail can launch it forward for Pafos. Retsos heads it backwards and across to his defensive colleague Pirola, who in turn can just head it back to Pachalakis. Olympiacos look to start again. Pachalakis plays it to Pirola, just outside his own penalty area. Here's Retsos now. Pirola again, moving it out to the left-hand side where Ortega is hugging the touchline, but his attempted pass up that touchline to Podence doesn't find its mark. Did get a little deflection though, so Olympiacos have a throw-in. About 3 or 4 yards inside their own half over on that left-hand side. And it's taken to El Khabi, who heads it down to Podence. His touch was a little loose, but Pirola snapped in to hoik the ball forward. But it's back with Pafos now, and Dragomir finding Pepe, but he's quickly dispossessed in midfield, and it's going to be a throw-in over on the right-hand side to Olympiacos. He's going to be another important man for them tonight. Pepe, named as the Footballer of the Year in the Cypriot League last year. His contributions to their title win. He's going to have to get through a lot of work, as you'd expect. Olympiacos, as they have done so far, will continue to dominate in terms of possession. There's Rodinei now, taking a throw-in down the right-hand side, midway inside the Pafos half. Luiz easily sees off El Khabi and then clips it long towards Dimata. Too long for him, and Pirola can just mop it up and send it back to Pachalakis. Gets it back from the goalkeeper now and then moves it across to the right, where it's picked up by Retsos, who opens his stride and heads towards the halfway line. Clips a long ball up towards El Khabi. Luiz's header gets it clear, but Olympiacos have it back now. They look to switch play to the left-hand side as Ortega drives towards the penalty area. Here's Podence, whips it in, right-footed. Luiz, brilliant challenge, and it's wobbling around. It was a brilliant challenge by Luiz on El Khabi. Pafos eventually able to get it clear. Olympiacos have it back and just starting to ratchet it up a little bit now, Olympiacos, as Podence sizes up Bruno over on the left-hand side. Skips inside him, goes down. Oh, Bruno is penalised again. Needs to be a little bit careful, doesn't he? Bruno Felipe, having been booked a couple of moments ago. It's Olympiacos take the free kick quickly. In goes across from Heze on the left-hand side. It's cleared away by Lucassen. And now there's another chance here as Podence tries to get to the byline from the resulting throw-in. Good piece of defensive play that time by Bruno. And an attempted piece of skill by Jaja that he's just about got away with. Nice little back heel, and then Jaja. Really good piece of interplay between a couple of the Pafos players there. And there's going to be a yellow card for Danny Garcia, who left his foot in on Jaja. It was a good piece of link-up play that just caught him out, Danny Garcia. He got a little bit too close to Jaja. And Jaja just dinked the ball over his right leg, which was hanging out, and then toppled over it. So it's now one yellow card apiece. Danny Garcia goes into the referee's notebook. And Pafos look to build again from the back as Lucassen finds Goldar right down near the right touchline. His attempted pass up the line is blocked by Podence, former Wolverhampton Wanderers man, of course. Daniel Podence made an instant impact after coming on in the win over Panathinaikos at the weekend. Only been on the field for about 2 minutes or so before he hammered in a shot from fully 30 yards. He's been rewarded tonight with a recall to the starting 11 in his third spell with Olympiacos. Daniel Podence is here on loan from the Saudi club Al Shabab. And he's going to be one of the main threats to Pafos tonight, you'd imagine. There's Bruno and Pirola just coming together in midfield. Olympiacos win it back. It's another free kick awarded to Olympiacos there. This time it's Sunjic who's penalised for a challenge on Strefetsa, who's certainly putting himself about, isn't he, in these opening stages. Game just a little bit scrappy at the moment. Lots of stoppages and niggly fouls. Hasn't really settled into a rhythm per se. Certainly Olympiacos enjoying more of the ball. Pafos reasonably happy to sit in and try and pick them off on the break. It's Pashalakis now, the Olympiacos goalkeeper. Just being given plenty of time by Pafos to edge out of his penalty area with the ball. Still got it, the veteran goalkeeper. Just edging forward all the time, and now he plays it long down the middle towards El Kabi, who wins a header down to Chiquinho. Here's Podence, tries to play a reverse pass to Chiquinho, but Chiquinho couldn't get there. He's won it back now though. Chiquinho cuts it back towards the penalty spot, and well, guess who's there? David Luiz to clear it away for Pafos again. It's going to be a throw in for Olympiacos on the left-hand side, midway inside the Pafos half. And they're looking to build down that left side again with Ortega and Podence combining. But Ortega, he can't believe it. He's been penalised for a foul down near the byline. It was Jaja who he came together with. It just looked like a genuine shoulder-to-shoulder to me. Ortega was just a bit stronger, but the referee saw it differently. Little wry smile from Jaja as if to say that he knows he maybe got away with one there, because if the referee had let it go, Ortega would have been free to drive into the penalty area. So he's made a good start to the game, David Luiz, but unfortunately for Pafos, does look to be struggling with a knock of some description now. 38-year-old. It'd be a real shame if he does have to go off, David Luiz, because he's shown all his famous energy and application to his defensive work we've come to expect from him down the years. Making his first Champions League appearance tonight since November 2017, would you believe? Almost 8 years since his last appearance in this competition, but have to wait and see. At the moment it looks as though his race unfortunately might be run after 24 minutes in Piraeus. As we await further news from David Luiz, will be this free kick for Pafos, awarded for the foul by Ortega. It's going to be taken by Neophytos Mikhail. He drills it long into the Olympiacos half. Dimata was well beaten in the air, but then Lucassen heads it forward again. More header tennis in midfield. It's eventually brought down to Podence. His pass was a little bit heavy. That just allowed Lucassen to nip in. Oh, and Bruno, I think he's in trouble here. He's left his foot in. Oh, and Juan Carlos Carcedo looks on with despair from the touchline. He's got there a little bit late. The challenge has gone in on Lorenzo Pirola, and I think he's in big, big trouble here, Bruno Felipe. We'll wait to see what the referee is going to do. But as soon as he made the challenge, Carcedo just, the look of despair and disgust. It's almost as if the occasion's got to him, Bruno, former Olympiacos man. Just so full of excitement. And yeah, he's been shown a second yellow card. And that's a huge, huge blow for Pafos on this historic night for this football club. Bruno Felipe, 25 minutes in, has been sent off. And now Juan Carlos Caicedo, well, he's got a real job on his hands, hasn't he, to rejig his team. And he'll be really disappointed, I'm sure, with Bruno Felipe, because the challenges he made were pretty rash, the ones he was penalised for. Wasn't any real element of misfortune about his first yellow card either. It's just really disappointing lack of professionalism from one of the senior players in this team, 31 years of age, is Bruno Felipe. But he's left Pafos now, potentially with a bit of a mountain to climb here in Athens. It's Olympiacos. Look to build again from the back. Here's a chance for Chiquinho on the edge of the penalty area. Slips it into El Kaabi. Podence just about keeping it alive. Finds El Kaabi. Podence again now. Nice little turn from him. Clips the ball down the line, asking for Ortega to make a run onto it, but that didn't come off, unfortunately. And Neophytos Mikhail more than happy just to fall on the ball and allow Pafos just to regroup for a moment or two after that red card. Good header won there by Pirola from the goal kick. Has Olympiacos on the front foot again. Here's Strefetza. Checks onto his right foot into the penalty area. That's gone behind. It's going to be a corner for Olympiacos. Nice piece of wing play by Gabriel Strefetza, who's come across to take this corner from the right-hand side. And this might just be Olympiacos' best way to break the deadlock. They can make this extra man count from set pieces. In it goes. It's cleared away by Lucassen, straight back to Strefetza. It's going to be swung in now, is it by Rodinei? No, he takes on his man, gets to the byline, cuts it back to Strefetza. His shot's blocked by Lucassen. And then the referee just stopping the game because there's a man down for Pafos in the penalty area. It's Joao Correa. I think that attempted shot from the edge of the penalty area by Strefetza may have hit Correa in the head, did it? No, it's off the ball incident actually that floored Correa. It was Lucassen, as I said originally, who made the block. Correa still down, seemingly in some distress, holding his face, covering his face with his shirt. Well, seeing a replay, it's gone down and there didn't look to be any contact whatsoever, and I just wonder if that's a little tactic by Pafos here, just to allow them to regroup and allow Caicedo just to rejig them somewhat after the damaging blow of that Bruno Felipe red card. I suspect we'll see Joao Correa back to his feet and ready to continue shortly. It does look as though Olympiacos now well poised to continue decent recent run of European results at home. They're unbeaten in their last 7 in all competitions. 5 of those have been victories. They have got a pretty poor recent record in the group stage, or league phase I should say now, of the Champions League. It's just 2 victories in their last 20 games, losing 16 of those and drawing the other 2. But they're probably not going to have a better opportunity in this season's competition to pick up a victory in the situation they find themselves in now against 10-man Pafos. Half an hour gone, it's still goalless. Olympiacos 0, Pafos 0. But it's the hosts who are looking to press home this numerical advantage now as Ortega and Podence combine. Little layoff by Chiquinho. Here's Pirola now. Retsos, good 10 yards inside the Pafos half. Here's Pirola. Moving it on the left-hand side now with Ortega. Ortega tries to slip a ball down towards the byline to Podence. Podence is claiming a corner. And he gets the corner. It was Sunjic who tracked his run, and Podence just stuck his left foot in and clipped the ball onto the ankles of Sunjic and won his team a corner. So this is going to be a task of defensive discipline and focus and concentration now, you'd imagine, for Pafos. And the next task awaiting them is to defend this corner from Olympiacos. In it comes now from the left-hand side, headed up and away by Pepe. Headed back out to the left-hand side to Rodinei, who's bundled to the ground by Pepe, fairly according to the referee. And then Pepe turning away from Rodinei, getting it clear. But Olympiacos win it back high up, and here's Podence now, swings across in left-footed, it flashes across the 6-yard box. There's a chance still here for Olympiacos, but they're going to have to settle for a corner. The ball being fired back in from the right-hand side this time, but just being deflected behind. They haven't really had a clear sight of Neophytos Mikhail's goal yet, have they, Olympiacos? Plenty of the ball, but still waiting for a real golden opportunity to break the deadlock. In comes this latest corner. Another excellent header by Lucassen to clear the ball away. David Luiz is still with us. By the way, I didn't update you on his condition. He seems to be back to full fitness now. And Pafos with another chance now just to gather themselves after Pepe goes down under a strong challenge from Strefetsa, just outside the Pafos penalty area. And we are going to see a couple of changes here now by the looks of things for Pafos. Going to see Mislav Orsic coming on. He's come on, and also going to see the arrival of Kostas Pileas. And after my little update a few moments ago, unfortunately, it is David Luiz who's one of those men to come off. See, that problem hasn't recovered enough to allow him to continue. And the other man to depart for Pafos is Landry Dimata. So let's see how that changes what they do from a defensive and structural point of view, Pafos. For now, they do have a free kick, which is taken by Mikhail, and it's driven down the left-hand side, headed away under no real pressure from Retsos. The ball is played back to Mikhail by Goldart. Mikhail goes long towards the right-hand side this time. Good little chance here for Jarjar to play a ball over the top, which he does. There's a chance here early for Orsic to influence things, and now Correa shoots, and that's just sailing high, wide, and not particularly handsome from Joao Correa. A bit of a warning sign there for Olympiacos. It was pretty easy for them to just get in behind there. It was a ball over the top in the end from Jarjar. It was actually Dragomir who was making the run rather than Orsic. He laid it back to Correa, but this opportunity was just skied a long way over the crossbar. So Olympiacos looking to come again now with Rodinei on the right-hand side. Plays it infield. Nice little turn and burst of pace in there. Now a chance for Podence. On the overlap is Ortega. His ball's cut back and it's well cleared, and now Pafos looking to break again as Jarjar turning on the afterburner, skipping away from Danny Garcia, skipping away from a second challenge too, and the referee, he's awarded a free kick here and he's reaching for his pocket again. And there's going to be another yellow card here for Olympiacos. It's another dazzling piece of counter-attacking play by Jarjar. It's Lorenzo Pirola who's gone into the book for bringing him to the ground. And now a really decent opportunity for Pafos to Put a ball into the Olympiacos penalty area. It's over on the right-hand side, probably just about level with where the penalty area meets the byline. Good 35 or 40 yards out from goal, but Pepe standing over the ball is certainly going to fancy his chances of putting this one into a dangerous area. You'd imagine it'll be heading towards the 6-yard box. And it goes now. And the header from Goldar. Oh, there's a good opportunity for David Goldar, the Pafos skipper. It was a really nicely flighted ball in from Pepe, but Goldar, when he got there, it was just behind him, I think, and he couldn't quite arch his neck back enough to guide the ball down towards goal, and instead only succeeded in heading it over the crossbar. 36 minutes in here, and 10-man Pafos are giving a pretty good account of themselves against Olympiacos. The hosts still waiting for their first shot on target. Haven't looked hugely threatening either, in truth, as Heza now gives it to Strefetza on the right-hand side, down near the touchline, midway inside the Pafos half. It's played back to Retsos. Here's Pirola now, moving it out to the left, where Ortega is again, hugging the touchline, approaching the penalty area now. In it goes from Podence. Another brilliant header clear from Lucassen. And then Pepe picking up the second ball and flicking it on, and Pafos look to break again, but Olympiacos win it back in midfield. Pepe now, though, stepping in to claim the ball back for the Cypriot side. And Jaja playing a nice measured ball down the right-hand side that Dragomir just miscontrolled slightly, and that allowed Olympiacos to win it back. Podence laying it off to Ortega. Here's Rodinei now, midway inside the Pafos half. Just drifting in from his right flank a little, and then switching play right to left. Here's Ortega. Ortega under some good pressure from Sunjic. Let's go back to Pirola. And now here's Retsos. Strefetza. Again, down near the touchline. Comes in field and moves it across to Pirola. Here's a chance for Retsos now, the other centre half, the captain, to step even deeper into Pafos territory, which he does. Measures the ball up to Strefetza, but that's well won back there by Pafos. Now they look to break through Correa. Nice feet shown by Sunjic. Dragomir just a little bit slow to the challenge in midfield, and that allows Olympiacos to pick it up again. Here's Rodinei now. About 10 or 15 yards inside the Pafos half. They're defending in a 4-4-1 now, as Ortega swings it in, and El-Kabi was sniffing around at the near post, but more excellent defending back there from Pafos, just snuffing out the danger. So Olympiacos look to come again now, as the ball drops in midfield to Garcia. It's laid back to Retsos. Retsos now finding Rodinei, who again is drifting in field with the ball. Slides one down the right-hand side. Attempted cross from Chiquinho was blocked, and then the clearance is completed by Kostas Peleas, who's had a couple of timely interventions already since coming on a few moments ago, Kostas Peleas. As we approach now the final 5 minutes or so of this first half that's just bubbled under, hasn't really caught fire yet, although certainly Bruno Felipe had a hot-headed moment as he got himself sent off. Here's a chance now though for Olympiacos as El-Kabi looks to get his head on a cross into the penalty area, but once again blue shirts surrounding him and just getting to the ball first. It was a lovely little clipped ball in by Chiquinho, but it was very, very good piece of defensive play back there. I think it was Goldar, the captain, who just tracked the run of El-Kabi all the way and got his head to the ball. Olympiacos have to settle for a corner. Show about to take now from the left-hand side. Right-footed, in it goes. Headed away again, this time by Pepe. And Pafos just holding firm at the moment. Certainly shown in this first half their No pushovers. Also carrying a decent threat on the counter despite the numerical disadvantage. As Olympiacos come again now. On the left-hand side, in goes the cross towards the back post. Well, that's a little bit too heavy for Podence, who popped up on the right-hand side there. He's just swapped flanks with Strefetsa for the moment. Looking to invert their wingers rather than go on the outside. As much as anything probably tells you how little joy they've had so far, Olympiacos, and trying to break down this stubborn rearguard being put up by Pafos, who launched the ball long downfield again. It's Lucassen who looks to find Jaja. He's seen off well by Pirola. Little layoff by Garcia back to Ortega. Retsos gives it back to Ortega, level with his own penalty area on the left-hand side. At the edge of his own penalty area, I should say. And now El Khabi's layoff finds Rodinei with a bit of space to run into. He crosses the halfway line, finds Podence on the right-footed ball into the middle. And yet again, David Goldar, first to it at the near post, heading it away. And Olympiacos, that's only a throw-in for them. Level with the edge of the Pafos penalty area on the right-hand side. Rodinei thinks about throwing it towards the penalty area, but instead goes back to Retsos. Here's Pirola. Gives it back to Retsos now, who's just a couple of yards outside the penalty area. Shoots. Block immediately comes in from Pepe, but it's bounced back to Rodinei. He's well challenged back there by Orsic. Now Orsic completes the clearance. Only as far as Rodinei though, as Heza picks up the ball and moves it infield to Danny Garcia. And now here's Pirola. Pafos happy to sit in their final third. They're not putting any pressure on the ball when it's in the middle third at all. As Heza looks for options, finds Rodinei on the right-hand side. Rodinei, again, creeping in field, playing it across to Retsos. Here's Pirola. Two Olympiacos centre-halves are now well inside the Pafos half as Ortega gets to the byline, stands across up towards the back post. Podence tries to bring it down, but just controlled it with his hand there, did he, Daniel Podence? I think he did. Yeah, the referee has awarded a free kick. Wouldn't have come to anything for Olympiacos anyway, because from the resulting cross-in was another defensive header. It's been a really impressive defensive display from the visitors so far. Now they just take a moment to try and get themselves up the park as Mikhail takes the goal kick, drills it long down the left-hand side. It's heading towards the corner flag as Dragomir battling with Rodinei. There's only ever going to be one winner there. Rodinei was able to shepherd the ball out for a throw-in, which he takes. Little flick on by El Khabi. Loose pass there by Correa was not really what Lucassen was after, but he manages to smuggle it back to Mikhail, whose clearance is long up in the general direction of Jaja, but too long for him, and ball ends up going to his opposite number in the end. Shalakis. Olympiacos now. Can they create something in the little time we have remaining in this first half? 30 seconds of normal time to go as Retsos, the captain, clips one out to the left-hand side. Still just inside his own half is Ortega. Plays it into Pirola. And now Retsos combining with El Khabi, who's having to drop really deep to influence the game at the moment. Nice pass up to Podence there, though. Here is the former Wolves man looking to combine with Chiquinho, but Chiquinho's return pass was a little bit heavy, and that just allowed Peleas to nip in and win the ball again for Pafos. It's just a throw again for Olympiacos as Rodinei takes it. The ball is quickly moved over to the left-hand side where Ortega gives it to Strefetsa and then goes on the outside of him, gets it back from Strefetsa, then goes down under a challenge from Joao Correa, who's got a few words with the referee there, Joao Correa. I think they wanted a foul, Olympiacos. It was another one of those 50-50 situations where two players just came shoulder to shoulder for the ball. Just waiting to see what the referee's given here. There's an argument that's continuing between Correa and Ortega. I think it is going to be a goal kick when it's all said and done for Pafos. Referee still having words with Correa, mind you. Obviously not happy with something, the referee, but as I said, it's ultimately Pafos who made the best of that situation, and it is Pafos who look to build now as Pepe turns and plays a lovely ball out to the right hand side to Correa. Here's Dragomir now, bursting forward. Well, it's Jar Jar, I should say, down the right hand side. He gets dispossessed though, and the clearance, that's a bit of a hopeful one from Olympiacos, and Lucassen is able to mop things up as Sunjic now tries to launch one over to the left hand side to Orsic. That's easily dealt with, and Olympiacos have a rare opportunity to break with numbers here as Podence tries to clip it up to El Kaabi. Yet again, David Goldar's there to tidy things up. Second phase comes now from Olympiacos though, and it's Strefetsa on the right hand side. Strefetsa, fronted by two blue shirts, gets his cross in. Lucassen winning another header. And now there's another potential break on here as Jar Jar finds Dragomir, but that pass was a little heavy. And Dragomir on the stretch couldn't bring it under his spell. Olympiacos look to come again now with Rodinei. Midway inside the Pafos half on the right hand side. We're inside the final 2 minutes of this half, the officials having added on 4. As Garcia now moves it across to Ortega. He swings in a low cross. That's cleared away by Pepe. Straight back to Ortega though, combining with Strefetsa again. Strefetsa heads towards the byline, stands up across, left-footed. But that's a poor attempted cross, in fairness, from Gabriel Strefetsa, and Pafos happy just to watch that one sail behind. They wanted a free kick, Olympiacos. Jar Jar just came on the scene as he was about to cross the ball, Strefetsa, and just leant on him. It's never a free kick. And so near Fitos Mikhail, face mask and all, again urges his troops up the field as he takes this goal kick now. Launching the ball long. Down the middle. Dragomir's well beaten in the air by Pirola. Here's Ortega now. Into the final 30 seconds of this first half. As Garcia tries to inject a bit of pace, moving the ball forward. Good pass there and a layoff from Podence. That's well cut out again by Pafos, and again it's Pepe who's there to pick up the second ball and just tidy things up for the visitors. They're going to have a free kick, I think, here right at the end of this first half of Pafos. Jar Jar once again is flawed. Just tried the little give and go with Pepe, and Ortega up pretty unceremoniously put him on his backside. As the referee does now blow for half time. And as I said a few moments ago, it's a game that's not really caught fire yet. We almost had the opening goal inside the first 60 seconds or so as Alexandros Paschalakis tonight. Alexandros Paschalakis, I should say, in tonight for his first appearance of the season. Had a really hairy moment with the ball at his feet just outside the penalty area. Drilling it straight into Dragomir, whose deflection looked to be dribbling towards the goal, but agonisingly for Pafos, it just rolled past the post. Beyond that, there's not been too many clear-cut chances at either end of the field, really. The main talking point of the half so far is sending off on 25 minutes for Bruno Felipe, the Pafos right midfielder, picking up 2 yellow cards against his former club. That's left Pafos facing a bit of an uphill task with 10 men, but it's one that they've really warmed to since he departed. Some excellent defensive contributions by the likes of Lucassen, David Goldar, the skipper, and David Luiz, who has since had to go off, unfortunately, with an injury. But at half-time, in Piraeus in the UEFA Champions League on match day 1. It's still goalless. Olympiacos 0, Pafos 0. We'll just take a little break now for half time, but make sure you tune in again in 15 minutes or so, and I'll be back to take you through the second half and see who's going to take the spoils in Piraeus this evening. But it's bye-bye from me for now.
Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page.
Well, hello again everyone. Chris Bryant here to take you through the second half of tonight's UEFA Champions League clash between Olympiacos and Pafos FC. If you are just joining us for the first time, you haven't missed a huge amount, certainly not in terms of goals. It's been a pretty nip and tuck affair so far. The main talking point is the red card given to Bruno Felipe in the first half. No real goalmouth action of note. Closest we came was inside the opening 60 seconds or so, when a horror moment for Pashalakis, the Olympiacos goalkeeper, just cleared the ball straight into Vlad Dragomir and watched on in horror as it rolled towards the goal, but ultimately just trickled wide of the post. Olympiacos have had plenty of the ball, but haven't been able to unpick this well-drilled Pafos team, who have really dug in since going down to 10 men, just banking up in a 4-4-1, making things really difficult. And well, Olympiacos have made a couple of changes at the break. I'll just confirm those for you shortly. But it will be Pafos who get us back underway in this second half, which they do now. And the ball is played down the right-hand side towards Jaja, who was a real live wire in the first half. Tried to hook it back into the penalty area, but couldn't keep it in play. He was the one big threat that Pafos had, certainly on the counter-attack in that opening period. Caused Olympiacos a bit of trouble on the break. So those substitutions for Olympiacos, it's Danny Garcia, who was booked in the first half, and Gabriel Strefetza. They've both departed. On in their place, Christos Mouzakitis and Mehdi Taremi, the veteran, former Porto striker. Here come Olympiacos though. There's a chance here for Taremi to make an instant impact, but Lucassen came across well and made a challenge, but the throw-in's taken quickly, and here's Ortega now. Podence, level with the edge of the penalty area. In swinging cross. Another big headed clearance by Derek Luckerson. Ball's just been seemingly drawn towards him all evening, Luckerson. He's been on the end of everything. Him and David Goldar, the skipper. Brilliant defensive performances from those two so far, but long way to go for Pafos if they're going to get something tangible out of this historic night for them. Their first ever Champions League proper encounter. Now here's Dragomir. Nice little back heel from him, and Pafos tried to send him clear down the right-hand side, but that's mopped up well by Pangiotis Retsos, Olympiacos skipper. And now here's Pirola, left-sided centre-half. Plays it in field to Heza, who finds Rodinei, who had plenty of the ball in the first half, but struggled to create much from it. It looks as though the pattern is set again now. Pafos sitting in, Olympiacos looking to pressure them. There's Podence now, just outside the penalty area. Cuts in field, curls one in right-footed, but guess who's there again? Yep, Luckerson, just to clear the ball. Podence has it back now. Moves it in field, where it's picked up by Musakitis. Oh, and there was a decent chance in there for El Kaabi. He's been kept so quiet all night. It was Rodinei who swung the ball in, and El Kaabi, for once, just getting the slip on Goldar and Luckerson, the latter of whom, to be fair, did jump with him. And Ayub El Kaabi, in the end, could only just head the ball wide. It's not been his night so far, Ayub El Kaabi. He's got an absolutely brilliant goal-scoring record for Olympiacos. 62 goals in 97 appearances in all competitions prior to tonight. He scored 11 goals in their run to Europa Conference League glory in 2024. That just in 9 appearances as well. Also included a hat-trick at Villa Park. They famously dispatched Unai Emery's Aston Villa over 2 legs. He scored twice in the home game against them as well. To mention the winner in the final against Fiorentina. It's just 6 goals for him in the final 3 games of that competition, but as I say, he's been shackled well tonight, but just had a sniff of goal there, did El Kaabi. He's got Taremi for company now as well. So Olympiacos are really going to try and up the ante in the early stages of this second half. There's Ortega now. Rolls it down the line to Podence, who combines well with Taremi. El Kaabi's layoff, attempting to find Podence, was not so good this time, and Jaja now bursting away down the right-hand side. Tries to measure a ball in behind. It was well blocked by Ortega, who manages to clear his lines, and the ball falls kindly for Podence, who drives in field, tries to slide a ball in behind the Pafos rearguard towards Taremi, but that's well cut out. And here's Pepe now, who just sees his progress impeded by Daniel Podence. I thought for a moment the referee might be reaching for his yellow card again there for Daniel Podence, because it was a pretty blatant tug back. Pepe was clear of him. He's got away with that one, it seems, Daniel Podence. Now Pafos have the ball with Jaja just inside the Olympiacos half on the right-hand side. Here's Pepe now on the halfway line. Oh, and a poor piece of control by Jaja, who just gives a bit of a rueful grimace. And Olympiacos have a throw-in. Midway inside their own half on the left-hand side. Ortega takes it to Pirola, who moves it on to Retsos, who quickly motors forward towards the halfway line. Little layoff by El Kaabi, who's forced to do a lot of his work with his back to goal so far. Here's Ortega now. Attempted pass from Matsukitis. It was 4-1 in the direction of Podence, but Olympiacos have it back. Here's Taremi. Now Musakitis again. Podence into the penalty area. Skips away from Jaja. Tries to clip it inside, but it's well picked up by Joao Correa, who goes down. The referee plays advantage though. And now here's Orsic. Laying it back to Pileas. His pass up the left hand left flank was not the best and just went out for an Olympiacos throw-in. Here they come again now, the hosts, as Moussakitis tries to switch play from left to right towards Chiquinho. A little bit too heavy for him. Chiquinho applauds the intention, but the execution just not quite there from Christos Moussakitis. Just 18 years of age. He's a really precocious young talent, this central midfielder. Already got 5 caps for Greece. He's one of the key figures in the team that won the UEFA Youth League for Olympiacos back in 2024, which is a really extraordinary achievement that no one was expecting. He scored 6 goals in 8 games in that run. He's another one off the production line here at Olympiacos that they're really excited about. In the here and now, he needs to help his team somehow find a way of unpicking this stubborn Pafos rearguard. The 2 banks of 4 holding firm still as Heza comes forward now. Rolls it down the right-hand side. Little chop and turn by Chiquinho. Pass into Taremi was a little bit heavy, and that just allowed Pafos to escape as Dragomir tries to turn his man, but he's quickly pounced upon by Pirola. Olympiacos coming forward again. Taremi's flick to El Kaabi. Referee has pulled the play back here. It's an offside flag, I think, that's gone up against Olympiacos. Yeah, I think it was El Kaabi who was just a yard or so behind the line as Moussakitis now with a cross towards the back post. Chiquinho picks it up down near the touchline, deep inside Pafos territory. Plays it back to Rodinei. Rodinei clips the ball inside, and there's a shooting chance here for Heza, but he opts to cut it back towards Taremi, and that just allowed Sunic to step in and win the ball, and then Sunic just playing it off Santiago Heza and winning Pafos a goal kick. So this puzzle that Olympiacos need to solve just rolls on for now. They really would have been looking at this fixture as a must-win, certainly when you consider some of their other opposition in this revamped league stage of the UEFA Champions League. They've got trips to 2 of last season's semi-finalists to come in Barcelona and Arsenal. They've also got a visit from Real Madrid on the horizon as well, as Olympiacos are awarded a free kick. There's a really big coming together there between Dragomir and Pirola. It is Dragomir who's been penalised. It's an aerial battle that Dragomir was probably never going to win, but he went in for it nevertheless. Both players just taking a moment or two to get back to their feet. Dragomir in particular just moving a little bit gingerly. He's going to be okay to continue, I think. Glad Dragomir. As Olympiacos look to build again. Pirola moves it across to Retsos, who crosses the halfway line, looking for options. Takes his time, Retsos, and just lays it back to Heza. Heza flipping it out to the right-hand side, where Rodinei hugging the touchline and then driving infield with the ball. Lays it back again to Heza. And now Ortega tries to play a ball inside Correa to the run of Podence, but that's cut out well by Pafos, and they're on the break now, the visitors. Oh, a bit of a heavy touch from Orsic, but it's come to Dragomir. His attempted ball back towards Orsic was a poor one. It's just starting to look a little bit fatigued, is Glad Dragomir. Wouldn't surprise me if he's the next change on the mind of Juan Carlos Carcedo. But now Retsos has come all the way forward to play it to Rodinei. His ball in is a decent one. Flashed across the 6-yard box. Unfortunately for Olympiacos, no one on the end of it this time. Just gives a little look to his teammates, does Rodinei, as if to say, oh, come on, how was no one attacking that ball? Because it certainly had a very good trajectory on it. In the end, just bounced out rather harmlessly for a goal kick. And Pafos once again can just gather themselves, look to reset, get the defensive line up the pitch as they await this goal kick from Neophytos Mikhail, who's drilled it long up towards Dragomir, who's eased out of it by Pirola. He's penalised again as Dragomir. Pirola takes the free kick quickly. Retsos moves it on to Rodinei. Rodinei trying to clip one over the top to Taremi. That's well cut out by Lucassen. And now here's Pileas. The skipper now, David Goldar, plays it back to the goalkeeper. Mikhail, his attempted clearance is nodded down by Rodinei. About 5 yards or so inside the Olympiacos half. Ortega combining with Podence, who's come back over to the left after that little experiment on the right towards the end of the first half. Now here's Mouzakitis. Ortega diving in to win the ball back after losing it, and he's penalised. It's Francisco Ortega. He can't believe it. It was Correa who went down under the challenge. Did look as though he won the ball, in fairness to Francisco Ortega. You can understand his frustration. The referee saw things a little differently. Once again, Pafos with a chance just to slow things down as Mikhail stands over the ball. The goalkeeper, who's still yet to make a save, as far as I can remember. 58 minutes gone in Piraeus. As Dragomir once again losing out to Pirola on the edge of the Olympiacos penalty area from that long ball. Lucassen towers well to win a header against El Kaabi. I think the referee is going to penalise El Kaabi here for his role in that. Not sure he did anything wrong, to be fair, Ayub El Kaabi. It was a bit of an awkward landing for Derek Lucassen, who went up for the ball alongside Pepe as well, and just a bit of a collision between all three of them. But he's okay to continue, Lucassen, and he's got the ball now, and he's rolled it back to the goalkeeper, Mikhail, who clips it out to the right-hand side, where Jar Jar is beaten in the air by Ortega. Pepe launching one down the right-hand side, but it's gone out for a throw-in. And Juan Carlos Carcedo there just gesturing to his men to make sure they stay compact. That's certainly going to be important in the final half an hour or so if they are to come away with what would be a really remarkable point in the circumstances, it has to be said, for Pafos. Considering this is their debut in the competition and considering that loss of Bruno Felipe to a red card just 25 minutes into the game. Olympiacos, though, will have other ideas. And now here's Chiquinho, standing one up from the byline. Podence attempts a shot. Just hit it into the ground on his right foot to Daniel Podence from the edge of the penalty area. There's a nice little stood-up cross from the byline by Chiquinho on the right-hand side. Found its way to Podence at the edge of the penalty area in a bit of space, but just didn't get the connection he wanted on the ball, Daniel Podence. Just hit it into the ground, and I watched it bounce behind the goal pretty harmlessly in the end. Olympiacos do have it back now. The goal kick's been given away, and it's Rodinei again. Here's Podence. Little ball round the corner from him to Chiquinho. Oh, and Chiquinho attacking the penalty area. He's furious there, I presume with the pass from Podence. So it was a little bit too heavy. It was a ball round the corner. He probably should have made it, Daniel Podence. Chiquinho just showing his frustration by whacking the ball into the advertising hoardings. And that is the signal for Olympiacos to make another change here. It's the end of Rodinei's evening. The right back, he's departed, and he's going to be replaced by number 20, Costinha. So like-for-like change for Olympiacos. Costinha has appeared in the last two of the first three games, I should say, in the Greek Super League for Olympiacos. Rodinei missed out with a fitness issue at the weekend, so perhaps perhaps not a surprise that the 60 minutes in the bank. Jose Luis Mendilibar has decided to withdraw Rodinei. So Costinha has got half an hour to try and impact things here from deep right-hand side, but it's Pafos now who are coming forwards, and well, as Georgios went down right on the edge of the penalty area, he's still down, the Brazilian, but referee not interested at all in the Pafos protests as Lucasen comes together with Taremi down by the touchline, but the Cypriots have the ball again now, and there's a nice piece of interplay here and a shot from range that comes in. I think it was Pepe who took the shot. It's just gone sailing over the crossbar. It was Ortega who made the challenge on Georgios. Georgios did look to have just skipped away from him, and it was a bit of a risky challenge from Francisco Ortega, just barging him to the floor. Georgios, he was definitely after a penalty, but referee not interested in the Pafos protests. It's just a little break in play here as Georgios receives treatment. They've done so well, haven't they, so far, Pafos? They're just the third team from Cyprus to feature in the Champions League proper. The other two being Apoel Nicosia and Anorthosis Famagusta. They have only lost one of their last 12 European games, winning 7 of those and drawing 4. They've found the back of the net in 13 of their last 14 European games as well. It's a bit of a tall order to keep that run going tonight, I must say, but you never know in football. Certainly with the likes of Georgios, they're carrying a threat on the counter-attack, and if Olympiacos do push a little bit too hard to find a goal that they would feel would be enough to secure victory, they might just leave themselves vulnerable on the break. You never know. So Georgios is back on his feet, moving a little bit gingerly. I'm sure that time he spent on the floor was part disappointment, part time-wasting mechanism, if we're being brutally honest, but nevertheless, it is Olympiacos who have the ball. It's a goal kick after that shot that went flying over the crossbar, and they're looking to build another round of possession quickly at the hosts. Balls come here to Muzakitis. Retsos moving it on to the right-hand side. That's picked up by Costinha. He combines with Heza. Here's Costinha again now. Looking to head to the byline as Costinha tries to make a cross, but Orsic, some good defensive work, following him all the way, just getting his foot in the way and deflecting it behind for a corner to Olympiacos. Over on the right-hand side. I mentioned it in the first half, but considering how difficult they found it to break through these 2 banks of 4 of Pafos, set piece might just be the way that they can unlock the door. In it comes now. Outswinger. Headed up, but not entirely away. Pepe volleys it high, and it's only partially clear though, as Pepe now has to chase out to the right-hand side, where sliding in was Chiquinho, having taken the corner, but just couldn't get there in time to prevent the ball going out of play. And it will be a Pafos throw-in. Still deep inside their own half on the left-hand side. Kostas Peleas taking it. And it's chested and volleyed forward to no one in particular. And Olympiacos have it back now with Retsos. Crossing the halfway line now, Olympiacos, and looking for options in midfield. But again, Pafos just nice and compact, nice and deep, just restricting the passing lanes. There's Podence now, picks it up midway inside the Pafos half on the left-hand side. Drives infield, slides a decent-looking ball in between the right-back and the centre half that Ortega was looking to pounce on, but once again, Lucasen clearing it away. Here come Olympiacos again now as Muzakitis moves it into Heza. Heza playing it out to the right-hand side where Costinha picks up the ball. He has to go back to Retsos, who's stepped right into the Pafos half. Here's Chiquinho laying it out to the right-hand side. Crostinia's cross is a low one towards the near post. Chiquinho was lurking, but Pepe doing some really diligent defensive work there, the centre mid. Just stepping in to deflect it behind for another Olympiacos corner. And it's going to be taken by Chiquinho from the right-hand side, right-footed. Another outswinger towards the penalty spot. That's beaten everyone for now, but it's come as far as Muzakitis, whose left-footed shot was scuffed, and there was a break on temporarily there. Georgios was away, and he's been floored again, Georgios, but Olympiacos are coming forward with Podence into the penalty area. Twisting and turning, looking for an angle. Daniel Podence down to the byline, stands up across, left-footed. And it's headed up, and then the clearance is completed by Orsic. It's a really good piece of play down the left by Podence, but the danger's not over for Pafos yet. In it comes from the right-hand side this time. Lovely headed clearance this time by Kostas Peleas. As we just see a replay again there of Georgios being brought to the ground. Referee again not interested in his protests, and he's back to his feet now as Olympiacos. Another cross in towards the back post, and it's Lucassen and El Kaabi fighting for the ball, but it just loops up in the end into the grateful arms of Neophytos Mikhail. And this latest Olympiacos wave of pressure again just fizzling out. It's Ortega wins a header from the long clearance ahead of Georgios. And Retsos now moving it out to the right-hand side. Here's Muzakitis. Nice little take and turn to skip away from one challenge, and then he drills the ball to Podence into the penalty area. Daniel Podence shoots. Good block by Lucassen. Ball still not away, but Pepe manages to stab it clear. Here come Olympiacos again, though. On the edge of the penalty area. Shot comes in from Muzakitis, and that's palmed behind by Mikhail. It was Retsos, actually, who had the shot. Really stepped into the Pafos half, the skipper. Just drilled a right-footed shot from 25 yards or so. Fortunately for Pafos, it was straight at Mikhail, the goalkeeper. They are going to have another corner here, though, as the noise just ramps up inside the stadium. Left-footed this time. Brilliant save! It was a flicked header on from the in-swinging corner, and Mikhail made a sensational save on his goal line. There's a huge break on now for Pafos. It's 3 versus 2 if they work this right. It's Georgios driving down the middle, plays it to his left. And he's had Orsic there in support, and he's just allowed Costinia to come in there, but I think the referee, he stopped the game here. Georgios did go down under a challenge. He's reaching for his back pocket, the referee. I'm just wondering what he's going to do here. It was Taremi who was sliding in, who was covering back to deal with the counter. And they look a little bit concerned here at Olympiacos. I just wonder if Taremi's going to be in trouble here. He's pleading his case to the referee. Suddenly, end-to-end stuff in this game. As Georgios drove forward, they almost scored at one end, Olympiacos, and then suddenly they found themselves defending 3v2. Georgios didn't quite get his pass right. Now they've conceded a free kick, Olympiacos. In a really dangerous position. So just to wait to see what punishment, if any, the referee is handing out here for that incident. I think he's just waiting for confirmation from VAR, and the VAR has sent him over to the screen. Just wonder if they're looking for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity here. I think it might be Taremi who's in trouble if they deem that to be the case for the foul on Georgios. Yeah, it was Taremi. He slid in from behind as Georgios was playing the ball. The question is whether the other man of the two that Olympiacos had back was providing enough cover to register it not a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. He's having a good look at this one, the referee. They did eventually get a third man back by way of cover, Olympiacos. The fact that Georgios looked to play the pass, I do wonder if that's going to count in favour of Taremi, because it's tough to say that it's a goal-scoring opportunity when he's playing a pass, I guess. It's certainly a foul by Taremi. He catches the back of Georgios' left ankle just outside the penalty area. A little bit unfortunate as he's sliding in desperation. slowing this right down, the referee, and he's taking a really good look at it. I think he's going to make his decision now. He's stepped away from the screen. Based on what he's seen here, goodness me, he's going to show a red card here, I think, to Mehdi Taremi. No, the referee got his red card out, and Taremi looked as though he was leaving the field. He was distraught, but I think he pulled the wrong card out, the referee, and he has shown him a yellow card in the end, as I suspected might be the case. He was going to send him off originally. In fact, I've just been receiving confirmation of that. The VAR has recommended to the referee that red card was downgraded to a yellow for Mehdi Taremi. The upshot of all of that is that Pafos have a free kick right on the edge of the Olympiacos penalty area. 18 minutes of normal time to go. It's Kostas Peleas who's standing over it. He's moved away now. And it's going to be Orsic. Oh, and it wasn't too far away from Mislav Orsic. He's bent that towards the top right-hand corner from 25 yards out. The goalkeeper, Pashalakis, was scrambling. And it's just clipped the top of the goal netting as it's gone over the crossbar. Mislav Orsic puts his head in his hands. He's come pretty close there to giving Pafos the lead. In the meantime, Olympiacos have managed to get themselves up the field on the right-hand side. Here's Chiquinho into the penalty area. Is forced back out towards the touchline. Here's Costinha now, who's whipping in another cross towards the penalty spot. That's headed clear by Lucassen yet again. Parola's pass out to the right. Finds Heza. Heza clips the ball into the penalty area that finds Chiquinho. Back to goal. Chiquinho lays it back to Costinha. Costinha skipping away from Orsic, getting to the byline, standing across up, and that's headed away again by Lucassen. Only gone as far as Retsos though. Retsos turning away from the challenge of Jaja and moving it out to Costinha, who's looked pretty lively since coming on. Retsos again now, rolling it back towards the centre circle where it's picked up by Pirola. Pirola gets it again, just in front of the centre circle now. Takes a couple of steps towards goal, but then has to go back to Muzakitis. And now here's Santiago Heza, midway inside the Pafos half. Here's Costinha now, down by the touchline on the right-hand side. Comes back in field and plays it back to Heza. Here's Pirola now. Pafos just digging in, sitting in really deep, not being attracted to the ball. As the cross comes in now towards the penalty spot, headed away by Goldar, the Pafos captain, I should say. Now pass down the right-hand side from Heza, that looked to find Chiquinho just as he was darting into the penalty area. It's a little bit too heavy. Another promising succession of Olympiacos attacks just comes to an end somewhat disappointingly. But what a couple of minutes we had there. It was Retsos who had the header from the corner at one end, brilliantly saved by Mikhail. And all of a sudden, Pafos briefly with a 3v2 in the counter-attack. Jaja going down under a challenge on the edge of the penalty area. Taremi initially was going to be sent off, had that red card downgraded to a yellow card by the VAR. And then Orsic just firing over from the resulting free kick. We're going to see another change now from Olympiacos as we enter the final 15 minutes of normal time. It's going to be a double change, I think. Looks as though Santiago Heza and Lorenzo Pirola are going to be heading off. Coming on in their place, we're going to see Julian Biancone, and also one of the homegrown players for Olympiacos, the youngster Stavros Nevmanidis. And it is the hosts who have the ball with Musakitis. It's played out to the right-hand side by Retsos to Costinha. Here's Podence, who's popping up on the right again, just inside the penalty area. Slides it down to... Whoa, it was a really good cross from Nevmanidis, who's just come on. The danger's not over for Pafos. Here's Ortega. Shot from him. Just sails over the crossbar. Nevmanidis almost making an instant impact there. A really sharp pass that was played to him down towards the byline. He fizzed it across the 6-yard box. And guess who was there to clear the danger, albeit temporarily for Pafos? It was Derek Lucassen again. And actually it was Lucassen again who got on the end of the resulting cross that made its way through to Ortega. His shot on the left foot, just sailing high over the crossbar. So another pause in play here. We're going to see double change for Pafos this time by the looks of it. You can see Ken Sema limbering up. Also Bruno Langer. So just confirm who's coming off. I think Joao Correa is going to be one of the men to depart for Pafos. And also Jaja, I think his race is run too. Olympiacos will be pretty pleased to see the back of him, in truth. He's been a thorn in their side all night on the counter. Really elusive dribbler. So this is the plan that Pafos are going to try and use now to get them through to the final whistle. As Mikhail takes the goal kick. Up it goes towards Orsic, who's not able to win the header. And poor touch there by Nevmanidis. Just popping it out for a throw into Pafos. About 5 yards or so inside their own half on the right-hand side. It's taken by Langer, who appears to have slotted in at right back. There's Retsos just heading the ball out for another Pafos throw. Don't think there'll be any great rush to take this, the visitors, as you might expect. Orsic just putting the ball down and leaving it for Langer, who just sidles up to the ball fairly slowly and eventually takes the throw into Pepe. Here's Orsic. Cute little pass from him, trying to set Langer on his way towards the byline, but that's well cut out by Olympiacos. Good counter press by Pafos, winning the ball back. Here's Orsic now, rolling it into the penalty area. Shot from Dragomir. Oh, and it was a low one that just fizzed past the left-hand post of Paschalakis. Didn't quite catch it the way he wanted it to, Vlad Dragomir. He's still battling on out there, the number 30. Got to give him credit. I did say about 15 minutes or so ago that I thought his race might be run, but he's still out there giving it his all for Pafos. As Ken Sema, first involvement for him is a good one. Winning the ball back and buying a throw-in off Costinha. Former Watford man, of course, Ken Sema. Made 176 appearances for them in all competitions. Now, having arrived from Vicarage Road in January, he's getting his first taste of Champions League proper tonight, as Mikhail just dicing with danger slightly there before getting the ball out to Lucassen, who drills it long. Decent looking pass from him that's going to come here to Dragomir, is it? Battling away with 2 or 3 Olympiacos defenders and losing out in the end ultimately, as Chiquinho picking it up now for Olympiacos inside the centre circle in his own half. Moves it out to the left to Ortega. Here's Nevmanidis coming in field off the left flank and finding Chiquinho again. Chiquinho just looking to receive a little bit deeper now as the pass down the right hand side towards Costinha. Well, Sema thought he'd seen him off, but he hasn't, and Taremi picks it up, but that's some good defensive work there by Ivan Sunjic, who comes away with the ball for Pafos. He's under pressure. He gets it back to Sema, who launches it forward left-footed. Again, Dragomir in the wars. He's knocked to the floor, but I think this time he's actually going to win a free kick for his team, is Vlad Dragomir. Little elbow in the chest from Chiquinho. Not a huge amount in it, in truth. And certainly Jose Luis Mendilibar was not at all happy with that decision. Just turning away in disgust and heading back for his seat in the dugout. And again, Pafos quite happy just to take their time over this set piece as Dragomir eventually gets back to his feet. It's just inside the Olympiacos half over on the left-hand side. And it's been rolled to Orsic, who's more or less on the centre spot. He plays it out to the right-hand side where Lucassen looks to clip a ball over the top towards Dragomir, but it's a little bit too heavy from him. And it just goes out for a goal kick to Olympiacos. So 9 minutes of normal time for Pafos to survive here. Still goalless in Piraeus. As Olympiacos coming forward again now. Here's Chiquinho. Moves it on to Muzakitis. Ortega picks it up on the left-hand side. Almost level with the edge of the Pafos penalty area. Has to go back in field to Muzakitis. Olympiacos looking to switch it to the right-hand side now. Little clipped ball by Chiquinho looking for Costinha. Half cleared by Pepe. In goes another cross towards the back post. Headed away this time by Orsic. Olympiacos just trying to ramp it up as Ortega looking to take the throw in quickly. Level with the edge of the Pafos penalty area. It's up in the air and Ortega wins a header, but ball just bouncing out and Orsic cleverly just stands off it and allows it to go out of play. And again, Pafos just breaking the game up. They can take their time as they continue to frustrate this Olympiacos side despite the numerical disadvantage. After Bruno Felipe's red card, just 25 minutes in, they've battled manfully here and they're 8 minutes away from what would be a real landmark result for them. But here come Olympiacos again. There's a chance for El Kaabi. Oh, he just found himself in a bit of space. Almost for the first time tonight, El Kaabi. It was a straight clipped ball into the penalty area. And as I said, for the first time tonight, Goldar and Lucassen between them just switching off for a moment. Had a little bit of space, El Kaabi, but the header was a weak one. Didn't quite get the contact he wanted and just bounced down into the hands of Neophytos Mikhail. So Olympiacos still pushing for this one goal that you feel now would give them all 3 points, as Nevmanidis again coming infield off the left flank. Here's Retsos now. Plays it out to the right-hand side where Costinha has Podence outside of him. Podence coming infield now. Combining again with Costinha. Costinha rolls one into the penalty area. That's cleared away by Goldar. Olympiacos come again now with Musakitis. Midway inside the Pafos half. They're probing Olympiacos, but up until now, still no way through as Podence, 30 yards out from goal, rolls it across to Mutsakidis. Oh, and it's not far away from him this time. The ball just sailing wide. It took a deflection. It's a decent effort from Musakitis. May well have been on target. You won't need me to tell you who stuck a leg out to block it. Derek Lucassen again. My goodness, what a defensive performance it's been from him tonight. Christos Musakitis now whipping in the corner. That's headed up but behind by Goldar, who's really commanding figure aerially back there for Pafos. He's done that all night, the skipper. They're going to have another corner, Olympiacos. Again, it's Musakitis, the 18-year-old, who's going to whip it in, left-footed, towards the back post, headed up. And unfortunately for Olympiacos, a little bit too high and a little bit too close to the goalkeeper. It was Biancone who was stealing in at the back post, but just couldn't get enough purchase on his header. As Pafos launching the ball forward now quickly, and there's a half chance here is there for Orsic. Back to goal, controls it well, looking for support, gets it from Pepe. Pepe, midway inside the Olympiacos half, just waits until he gets support on the left-hand side from Pileas, who plays it down the line to Sima. Sima looking to turn away from Chiquinho. Chiquinho having tracked him back and did well to get his foot in and deflect it out for a throw-in. So we're going to see one more change here for Pafos as we enter the final 5 minutes of normal time in Piraeus. And this time it is Vlad Dragomir, who's worked tirelessly tonight for the Pafos cause. He's certainly not alone in that, of course, but he really has put in a shift. He's going to be replaced for the final few minutes by Anderson Silva, who's a more traditional striker. So maybe just a little sign that Pafos hoping to maybe nick something from a set piece. Haven't entirely given up hope of claiming a historic victory, as Anderson Silva is involved immediately down in the corner flag on the left-hand side with Ken Seamer. Seamer, though, unfortunately just losing out and conceding a throw-in, which Costinha is going to take. Still deep inside his own half. He goes down the line. It's flicked up, but not too far away, and combination of Suncic and Goldar win it back for Pafos. They've committed a few men forward in that particular attack, and Olympiacos looking to break now, but that was a really good piece of defensive play by Anderson Silva, who just tracked back to snuff out a potential counter-attack for Olympiacos. Really good piece of defensive play from the substitute. And now here's Retsos. Plays it to Musakitis in the centre circle. Here's Ortega now. Ortega getting it back from Taremi, who came short to link up. And then Nevmanidis goes to ground under a challenge from Langer. He got the ball though, fair and square did Bruno Langer. It's just a throw-in for Olympiacos, which they've taken quickly, and the play's now switched from left to right. And here's Podence, checking back onto his left foot, but dispossessed by Seamer. And Pafos now looking to break again. Here's Orsic, looking for runners, hasn't really got any, has to lay it back to Lucassen. Lucasen's ball up towards Anderson Silva was a little bit heavy. Seamer was also there beyond him on the left-hand side, but in the end, Olympiacos come away with the ball without too many problems. Here's Ortega now, midway inside the Pafos half on the left-hand side. He's got Nevmanidis on the outside of him. Nevmanidis skips away from Langer really well, but Langer, he's going to be penalised here. He can't believe it, looks at the referee as if to say, really? But he did have a little tug on his shorts, maybe. I mean, it looked as though for a second the 19-year-old Stavros Nevmanidis had skipped away from Langer. In the end, Langer conceding the free kick. We're into the final 2 minutes of normal time now, and it's getting a little bit tight here for Olympiacos if they want to find this winning goal and steal all 3 points at the death. They've taken it short. Here's Podence, lays it to the edge of the penalty area. Nevmanidis shoots, blocked in there by Goldar. The ball's heading towards the touchline on the right-hand side. It's picked up by Biancone. Here's Nevmanidis now. Here's Musakitis, clipping one towards the back post. Oh, and El Kaabi heading towards goal. And it was a good chance for the Morocco striker. One that Mikhail did well to tip over the bar. I'm not sure if the offside flag would have been up against him, actually. Ayub El Kaabi. He's had a couple of little sights of goal in the last 10 minutes, having plowed a really lone furrow. Yeah, it was a really blatant shove, actually, by El Kaabi on Goldar, the Pafos skipper. So it wouldn't have counted anyway, even if it had gone in. And Pafos now, they're into the final 30 seconds of normal time in Piraeus. It's still goalless between Olympiacos and Pafos FC of Cyprus. As Mikhail launches one down the right-hand side. Anderson Silva looks to flick the ball on and thought he'd want to throw in off Ortega there, but instead it's gone to Olympiacos. So we just wait to see now how many minutes are going to be added on by the fourth official. Olympiacos coming forward again with Costinha, although he has to check back. And now Olympiacos look to switch it to the left-hand side as Biancone finds Ortega just outside the penalty area. Ortega, Biancone overlaps, clips it back left-footed. That's volleyed away well by Pepe. He's another one who's been outstanding tonight for Pafos, as it's collected by Musakitis. Musakitis now measuring a really nice ball down the left-hand side. Ortega's cut back. Oh, and Taremi, the ball was there for him. All of a sudden, his eyes must have lit up there, Mehdi Taremi. But just as he pulled the trigger, it's an absolutely incredible block by David Goldar. The Pafos skipper earning his keep, just threw himself headlong, body long towards the ball and deflected it behind. It was a golden opportunity for Mehdi Taremi. He came off the bench at the weekend to score twice on his debut for Olympiacos, and he almost had a second goal there, and one that would have meant so much to Olympiacos. But instead, Pafos yet again surviving by the skin of their teeth. And we're into 6 minutes of injury time now at the Stadio Georgios Karaiskáki. And the referee just holding up play for a moment there as Langer waited to take a throw in. It's gone back to Mikhail via Lucassen. His clearance was high but not too far, although the ball has come now to Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva gets floored in midfield, wants a free kick, doesn't get one. Pafos had committed a couple of players to that counter. A long straight ball over the top. The goalkeeper came and didn't get there. Oh, they've just ridden their luck again there, Pafos, as Pileas clears the ball. It's starting to get a little bit frantic back there for the Cypriots as the throw-in's taken quickly for Olympiacos. There's another cross coming in, I thought, from Chiquinho, but instead it's Costinha who whips it in towards the back post. Orsic has tracked the run of Ortega and did well to clear, but here they come again, Olympiacos, as Podence plays it into the area. Taremi cuts it back, left-footed. Shooting chance there for El Kaabi, but he has to lay it off to Ortega. Ortega trying to loop one over the top. Podence volleys it back towards the penalty spot. It's cleared, but only as far as Ortega. Ortega now driving for the byline. He's met by Pepe, who gets a block in, and then it's hoiked clear by Pafos. And they escape, and they survive another wave of Olympiacos attacks. But it's coming back again quickly with Moussakitis now. Just 3.5 minutes to go in extra time as Chiquinho thinks about a cross midway inside the Pafos half on the right-hand side. Combining instead with Nevmanidis. He just tried to drive on the outside past his man, but the ball deflected off the blue shirt. I think it was Pileas back there. And it's a little bit of respite for Pafos with a goal kick as they enter the final 3 minutes of injury time. They're getting ever closer now, inching ever closer, Pafos. So what would be a real landmark moment in the history of this modest football club. Just 11 years ago they were founded, 2014. Incredible story. It was a merger between AEP Pafos and AEK Kuklia. And here they are on the biggest stage of all in club football. They're digging in and they're fighting tooth and nail to hold off Olympiacos here as Podence now plays a ball inside. Gets it back from Taremi. Midway inside the Pafos half. Podence switches play to the right-hand side. Here's Chiquinho now. Chiquinho measuring across. Taremi with a header on the penalty spot. He was in a lot of space again there, Mehdi Taremi. Another cross coming in from the right-hand side, and again, just on one of those very rare occasions that the Pafos centre-halves have not been picking up the runners. Taremi had a clear sight of goal, but the header was not one of his best at all. Just sailed over the crossbar. As Mikhail now, the goalkeeper, launches it down the left-hand side. Anderson Silva tries to keep the ball in, but doesn't manage to. There's a throw-in that was taken by Olympiacos, about 5 yards inside their own half on the right-hand side, and they're coming forward now as Biancone striding forward, finds Podence on the left. Podence trying to skip infield, but Langer really strong in the tackle, just seeing him off. And then combining down there with Orsic to get it clear, and Orsic's ball is a good one to Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva, well, the control just let him down, and he left a foot in on Chiquinho, who's gone down. And it's going to be a free kick for Olympiacos as we head towards the final 60 seconds or so of additional time here. Pafos got to hold on here. It's nail-biting stuff. A real grandstand finish in store here in Piraeus as Olympiacos sides up this free kick 40 yards from goal. In it goes from Moussakitis. It's flicked on, and just for a moment there I thought there'd be a chance at the back post. I think it was one of the Pafos defenders who actually flicked it on inadvertently. Yeah, it was Goldar, and then the ball just bounced into the legs of Pileas, and it went back to the goalkeeper. And that might just be it for Pafos. But Olympiacos are not going to give up without one last attempt here. Here comes Moussakitis heading towards the halfway line, crossing the halfway line now, playing it out to the left-hand side. Poor pass from him, though. It's picked up by Orsic. Orsic playing a ball over the top towards Anderson Silva. Well, he was pushed to the floor there, was he, by Retsos. Referee happy to wave play on, and the goalkeeper clears it. And Olympiacos, just as they look to mount one last attack, are denied by the referee's full-time whistle. And it's a Champions League match day 1 point for Pafos, a first ever Champions League point on their first ever game in the group stage competition. The Olympiacos players sink to their knees in frustration. It was a game that never really came to life in truth. We had some drama in the second half. There was a few really good chances for Olympiacos. It was really a tale of 2 red cards. One that was for Bruno Felipe in the first half, and one that briefly was for Mehdi Taremi in the second half, that was later rescinded upon a VAR review. But the credit tonight has to go to Pafos FC, this modest club from the west coast of Cyprus, who've come here. They've gone down to 10 men after 25 minutes, and they've dug in and defended absolutely sensationally to claim a goalless draw at the home of Olympiacos. All the props in the world to everyone in a blue shirt tonight, but I think particular mention should go out to the 2 centre halves, Derek Luckerson and the captain David Goldar, who are absolutely outstanding, putting their bodies on the line, blocking everything that came their way, heading everything that came their way. And it's a deserved point on a historic night for Pafos FC and Cypriot football. And so we're almost